I thought maybe that website would be a good place to talk about Jesus, and I asked him what was his religion, and he said, I'm Muslim. I thought, okay, that's it, I'm going to invite this guy to Jesus. So I prayed and I cried a lot in that night. Assalamu alaikum, my name is Amira Costa. In this video I'm going to tell you how I became a Muslim. Born in a city called Vila Velha in Brazil, and I spent most of my life in this city. Most of my life I was a Christian. My mom was a Catholic. My father's religion was the Spiritism. For a short time, me and my mom used to go with my father to the Spiritism too, but my mom did not feel well going there, so she decided to go to the Catholic Church, and I used to follow her. I don't question too much which religion should I follow, if I should go with my father or with my mom, but I always believed in God and I always believed in Jesus, so I thought it was fine to go to the Catholic Church. Most of Brazilians at that time were Catholic. I did not see any problem in going there, and I kind of liked going there. But there were many questions for me that I felt like I did not get the answer. I did not see a future for myself if I carried on in that way. So I was feeling a bit sad that my life was in that place, but it was fine. I still believed in Jesus, I still believed in God, and I did not think there was another religion that would talk about the same God and the same Jesus. So I just carried on in that life. My biggest dreams in life was to learn English. I was always trying my best to learn, by myself, and I was always translating songs and trying to learn new words. When I was about 26 years old, finally I had a computer in my home and I had access to internet. And one day I thought that maybe I should try to speak to someone online, because I was too shy to practice my English with people that could see my face. So I was wondering if I could find a website where I could talk to people from other countries where they can just hear my voice. And then I found this website and I could talk to people from everywhere in the world. And in those days I was being more religious. I was going to the church, and because I was being very religious though in those days, I thought maybe that website would be a good place to talk about Jesus to the people that I met there, because I kind of knew that people from Arabic countries and people from India, for example, they are not Christians. So I thought, probably they don't know about Jesus. I don't know anything about Islam. When I was talking to one guy, and he was from Yemen, and I asked him what was his religion, and he said, I'm Muslim. I thought, okay, that's it, I'm going to invite this guy to Jesus. And then I say, hey, do you know anything about Jesus? And then he said, of course I know about Jesus. Muslims believe in Jesus. We must believe in Jesus to go to paradise. I said, how can you believe in Jesus but you're not Christian? And he said, okay, you should search about how Muslims believe in Jesus. Search about it on Google, and then you're going to understand better. In that night I was asking many other questions, and everything that he was telling me about Islam, I felt like, whoa, I agree with everything that you're saying. I like what you're telling me about Islam. So after that day, I started searching for other Muslims, and I wanted to be friends with many Muslims because I wanted to ask many questions, and just one person would be bored to answering everything that I wanted to ask. So I started adding many Muslims to my social medias, and some of them, they were really helpful. They really wanted to answer my questions and wanted to talk about it as much as possible. So I started reading a lot about Islam, and I started reading not with the intention to become a Muslim. I thought that at some point I would find something to prove that Muslims are wrong. But the more I was reading, the more I was liking what I learned about Islam. So I carried on reading, not working in those days. So I had from non-Muslim websites because I wanted to have a neutral point of view, and I carried on studying, and I became really obsessed with this topic. I was waking up, going straight to computer to read about Islam, and I was not working in those days, so I had plenty of time to read and talk to people. So I carried on studying, and I was thinking to myself, I'm not going to be a Muslim. I'm going to start doing these things that Muslims do, the things that I thought was really cool, like fasting, and I wanted to pray more like Muslims, but I said I'm not going to be a Muslim. But it was really difficult to decide to change from one religion to another, because first, it's very easy to be a Christian in a Christian country, so why would I change if life was easy like that? And I started feeling overwhelmed by all that search and all those informations that I was finding. I understood that if God did not guide me, I would not find the answer by myself. I decided to pray. So one night I was in my bedroom, so I remember placing my hands on the floor and then touching the ground with my forehead, and then I prayed and I asked God to guide me to the path that He wanted me to follow, and if I had to become a Muslim, I would do it. I understood that I would have to sacrifice many things in order to be a Muslim. But if He wanted me to stay as a Christian, for me it was fine as well. Anything He wanted me to do, I would follow. So I prayed and I cried a lot in that night. I kind of felt like in that moment I could relax. He came back, then I took the Shahada. So in that moment it was really special to me, and I was like laughing so much because I was like really happy, and I could not believe that I was becoming a Muslim in that moment. In that moment I felt like my future was going to be really good, and Alhamdulillah, I feel like these last years since I became Muslim were the best days of my life.